The disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 simply vanished.
In 2014, the world was shaken by the mysterious disappearance of Flight MH370, which was en route from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. To this day, the mystery remains unsolved. Official investigations were closed due to a complete failure, and the aircraft, carrying 239 passengers, was never found. 10 years later, at the end of 2024, the Malaysian government announced that the search for the plane would resume in 2025. In this video, we will examine 8 of the most plausible theories behind the disappearance of flight MH370. One of them might just be the truth. To understand why this tragedy has drawn so much attention, let's grasp the sheer scale of the aircraft itself. The Boeing 777 is as long as a 21-story building and has a wingspan equivalent to a 15-lane highway. How could such a massive machine vanish without a trace in an era of satellites, radars, and cutting-edge technology? Keep in mind, this was 2014, an age of modern surveillance systems. So flight MH370 of Malaysia Airlines took off on March 8, 2014 at 0041 local time from Kuala Lumpur International Airport. The aircraft was en route to Beijing with an estimated flight time of about 6 hours. On board were 239 people, including 227 passengers from 14 countries and 12 crew members. The aircraft itself was one of the safest and most advanced of its time. The first group of theories, official assumptions. The first thing that raised suspicion in the investigation was that the automatic data transmission system, aircraft communications, addressing and reporting system, was manually disabled by someone on board. Shortly after, the transmitter responder, electronic device that transmits the aircraft's location to air traffic control radars, was also switched off. Because of this, the crew members and passengers were the first to come under suspicion. This led to the first theory, the suicide of Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah. At the time, Zahari was 53 years old, an experienced pilot with over 18,000 flight hours and an impeccable reputation. The main reason he fell under suspicion was that investigators found a flight route on his home flight simulator that closely resembled the path taken by MH370. His simulated route ended in the southern Indian Ocean, the very place where the plane is believed to have disappeared. This route had been deleted, but investigators were able to recover it from the deleted files on the hard drive of Zahari's flight simulator. But what could have driven a healthy and accomplished man to do something like this? Investigators discovered that for several months Zahari Ahmad Shah had been living separately from his family and spending a lot of time alone. Experts believe that prolonged isolation and the extensive hours he spent on his flight simulator could indicate underlying emotional distress. However, there is no official evidence that Zahari suffered from depression or any mental illness, and his family and close friends strongly refute this theory. Moreover, if this version is true, why didn't the co-pilot intervene? Why would the captain take such a complex route instead of simply crashing the plane into the sea? What was the purpose of turning the aircraft around and flying in a different direction for several hours? And ultimately, why go to such great lengths to conceal the flight path and disable communication systems? Second and third theories are too weak to be examined in detail, so let's briefly acknowledge them. Decompression. A loss of cabin pressure supposedly caused everyone on board to lose consciousness, leaving the plane to fly on autopilot until it ran out of fuel. Supporters of this theory often compare it to the 2005 tragedy of Helios Airways Flight 522. But why doesn't this theory hold up? First, if everyone lost consciousness, who turned off ACARS and the transponders? Second, the autopilot couldn't have executed such a sharp turn, meaning the plane must have been under manual control. The third theory suggests a technical failure caused by an explosion of cargo, presumably lithium-ion batteries. According to this theory, the explosion disabled the aircraft systems, ultimately leading to the disaster. The plane was carrying 221 kilograms of lithium-ion batteries. Malaysia Airlines stated that the cargo was properly packed, meaning a fire should not have been possible. However, lithium-ion batteries are known for their fire hazards, so this theory cannot be entirely dismissed. A fire in the aircraft's electronics could have disabled communication systems, including ACARS and the transponder. In response, the pilots might have attempted an emergency landing, which could explain the sudden course change of the aircraft. Pretty strong arguments in favor of this theory. However, the counter-arguments are just as compelling. The aircraft continued flying for approximately 6 hours after disappearing from radars, which does not align with the scenario of a catastrophic fire. Moreover, the debris later discovered showed no signs of fire or explosion. The numerous unknowns and the lack of a solid official explanation have fueled countless conspiracy theories, and we can't ignore them because in some cases they seem to have fewer inconsistencies than the official versions. So, the first two conspiracy theories are based on the passengers. Let me remind you, there were 227 people on board who, apart from the pilots, could have raised suspicions. You might be surprised, but 2 passengers were traveling with stolen passports. Both were from Iran. Investigators were shocked by how easily individuals with fake passports managed to board the plane. Could this tragedy have been a failed terrorist attack? However, the investigation determined that these 2 passengers had no ties to any terrorist organizations and were simply seeking political asylum. So we dismiss this theory just as quickly as it appeared. The next group of passengers that caught the attention of experts and the public were the 20 engineers from Freescale Semiconductor. This company specialized in the development of semiconductors for military and aerospace applications. However, the company never disclosed the specific projects these engineers were working on. This led supporters of this theory to suspect that they might have been involved in the development of stealth military technology. This theory suggests that this group of engineers was the primary target of the plane's hijacking, with the ultimate goal of transferring their knowledge and technological developments to a third party. Such an operation could have been driven by the race for technological superiority. One of the discussed theories is that China may have had an interest in these technologies. 3 key arguments supporting this theory. The presence of such a large number of engineers with high-level access to classified projects raises suspicions. The technologies they were working on could have been strategically valuable to other nations. The engineers may have been transporting sensitive data, making them a potential target for hijacking or espionage. As a counterargument, skeptics point to the lack of evidence that anyone on board showed aggression or attempted to hijack the plane. There is also no proof that the aircraft actually landed in a secret location. However, these counterarguments seem weaker than the counterarguments against the official theories. Third theory, the plane might have been carrying a secret cargo. Along with the engineers, the aircraft could have been transporting strategically important cargo related to Freescale Semiconductor's developments. Alternatively, the cargo could have been linked to illegal activities such as explosives or other weaponry. Evidence supporting this theory. The cargo on board remains shrouded in mystery. According to the official declaration, in addition to lithium-ion batteries, the plane was transporting mangosteens from Malaysia. However, at the time of the flight in March, it was not mangosteen season in Malaysia, raising doubts about the authenticity of the cargo documentation. This discrepancy sparked media discussions and conspiracy theories, suggesting that the cargo declaration might have been falsified or used as a cover-up for something else. If it wasn't mangosteens, then what was really being transported? The entire cargo of flight MH370 remains a topic of debate to this day. If the mangosteen declaration was false, it could be a crucial clue in the investigation. However, the weakness of this theory lies in the lack of public evidence confirming the true nature of the cargo. This raises a logical question. Why hasn't the Malaysian government provided more details about the cargo? What are they hiding? And now, the most controversial theory is US military involvement. Residents of the Maldives claim they saw a large passenger plane heading toward Diego Garcia, a remote island housing a strategically important US military base. According to the fourth theory, the approaching plane was shot down by the military to protect the base. The military might have perceived the aircraft as a threat due to its deviation from the flight path and loss of communication. The fifth theory suggests that the plane was forced to land, possibly due to passengers connected to technology and intelligence. Let's recall the Freescale semiconductor engineers on board and the possibility of a secret cargo. As evidence supporting this theory, proponents point to witness testimonies and the absence of aircraft debris during the first 16 months after the disappearance. Moreover, the Diego Garcia base is fully equipped for the forced landing of an aircraft. Its communication suppression technologies could explain the disabling of ACARS and the transponder. And if we dig even deeper, for the first time in history, a sitting US President, Barack Obama at the time, made an official visit to Malaysia after the plane's disappearance. These theories also have several weak points, such as the absence of any known terrorists on board or statements from terrorist organizations claiming responsibility, satellite data indicating that the aircraft never approached the base. This argument is further reinforced by the discovery of the first debris on Réunion Island 16 months later. If the plane had been shot down near Diego Garcia, ocean currents would not have carried the wreckage to Réunion. To this day, no theory or version has been confirmed with absolute certainty. What do you think? Which version seems the closest to the truth, in your opinion? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to learn more about the world's most mysterious tragedies and crimes.